What is up, everybody? It's Vishis here, and today I am making my very early tier list for DNF Duel 1.0. And I know I've only posted like a little bit of footage, and that's going to change here soon. I've been going through a lot of changes lately. Remember, I said I got another job? Well, I went back to my old job, and I got like a better shift, so yeah. So that's one thing I've been dealing with, and a lot of other things as well. But you know what? Now's not the time to really talk about that. Let's talk about DNF Duel. Alright, so let's talk about these characters and where I think they belong on the tier list. And I guess I'll just go ahead and go through in the order that they got from left to right, top to bottom. Alright, so Inquisitor. I believe that Inquisitor could, and this may change as I talk more about it. I think Inquisitor is about, I would say that she's in A tier. And let me explain why I have S, A plus, A minus, and question marks. Question marks is where I'm legitimately confused as to where they belong. But I don't believe that any character should be below A minus. Now, why don't I have B here? The reason why I don't have B or C is because I don't believe that there's that big of a difference in this roster between characters that it warrants them to be separated by a whole grade, unless it's the top 5, which I consider S tier. Now, I think every character in the game is very viable, and I don't think that there's any character in particular that has to work super duper hard in like every matchup. There are some characters that I think could have some better tools given what they have. That's why I would put them in A minus. A character that I think is pretty good, pretty standard, A. A character that has all that standard goodness plus a little bit of extra to give them the edge over, you know, A and A minus, A plus. And S is the top 5 characters for me, or at least it should be top 5 as we go along. Inquisitor is a regular A to me because it seems like Inquisitor has a lot of holes. Not a lot of holes, but Inquisitor does have holes in her offense. The wheel is great. And also throwing the little fire set play where she throws a little fire thing on the ground, a little lantern, and it forces you to stay still. That's good as well. But at the beginning of the match, she's not like so oppressive. You know, she can only do that so many times before she runs out. So like, I think that she's an A for that. Now, when she has more meter, obviously it becomes more of a problem. But when we're talking about DNF Duel, I think that characters getting more meter as the match goes along and they lose more health, that's just something that's going to happen. So saying that she gets much better when the meter goes down that low is nothing to me. You know what I mean? So I give her A for now. And next is Berserker. So I've seen some people say that Berserker is like C tier, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy is ridiculous. Like, he can force himself into a position where he can conversion cancel, right? And there's only one other character that can do that, right? Is Troubleshooter. But Berserker, the way he does it, you know, is really good because it gives him like a half screen attack and it gives him a really beefy combo. Not only that, but when he's low health, he can heal himself depending on how many hits he does to you. There's a possibility that if you're fighting Berserker and you get his health all the way down, he could just regenerate all of it back if he hits you back. Like, if you damn near perfect him, if he gets the chance to, let's say, get 75% of your health, he's doing a lot of damage to you. And yeah, I am factoring in the fact that he does have to sacrifice his health sometimes, but he has that command grab that can give him all his white life back instantly. Doesn't matter if he's in frenzied state or not. Decent footsies. He has a projectile. He has different jumping arcs. He's an A plus. What puts him over somebody like Inquisitor is just everything I said. You know, you want to run fast, he can run faster. You want somebody who's good in the air, he's better in the air because he can jump higher and he can jump further in a frenzy state. And you know, he can beat her to the punch when it comes to like doing a projectile. Especially with that half screen frenzied attack. Like, it's just, to me, it's like a no-brainer personally. And again, this is a personal tier list, so don't bite my head off about it. I I don't think any character is bad in this game. Alrighty then. So, alright, Striker is next. I'm going to put a pin in her for now. And there's several reasons for that. One of the reasons is because she can seemingly break your guard very easily. Just by having like a little bit extra meter. Like having 100% is annoying, but when she has 150% meter and 200% meter, she becomes a whole different character where she just is constantly attacking you, and you know, she's canceling moves into other moves, and it becomes a real big issue. But I don't know how I place her just yet. My first inkling is like really high, but we're gonna put a pin in her for now. Grappler is a top 5 character. I've said this since second beta. He's a top 5 character to me. This character can 2-touch like, I want to say 10% of the cast, and he's just very strong. He has armor. The only thing that's going to stop him from doing his armor moves or lows. There's not too many characters that have very far-reaching lows, so he's pretty much good. And even if they low, he has that move where he jumps over you and he stomps on your head, which sets you up for a juggle that does a ton of damage, and he doesn't even use that much MP when he's using his attacks. So there's that. Grappler, like I said, nothing's changed. A lot of people seem to think he's low tier. I think he's one of the best characters in the game. Really damaging, and when you get hit and he armors through your attacks, you feel it. You know, this is a character that makes you feel your mistakes, and when you're fighting a good one, it's a really tough thing to overcome. So there's that. And then we have Gunslinger, another top 5 character for me. All right, the reason being, Gunslinger can pick you off across the screen, and you know, he's easy enough to dodge, like to the trained eye, but sometimes he's not. You know, sometimes he could fake you out. Sometimes he could be waiting for you to roll. He has several moves. His 5S is a kick that literally stabilizes most of his combos. His 6S can hit multiple times, and when you roll, if he has that out, it could serve as a meaty. He also has that move, the advancing shooting attack. I think it's like 6M, where he jumps forward. He can jump behind you, start shooting. If you're not holding the block button, or if you're in the middle of an attack, he's going to stun you because the last bullet stuns you. And he can like slide and hit you and just do a pretty good combo. And it puts him at advantage because you'll just be further away from him. Very tough character. I believe he's S tier, top 5 character in the game. Ghostblade. I would say Ghostblade is, I would say he's A. I'm teetering on A+, but I'll say that he's A. In a game with a block button, it's really hard to justify Ghostblade being more than just an A. Yeah, he can mix and cross you up, and he can be in the air too. Like, he can send the ghost upwards, and he can be in the air. He can send the ghost behind you. But there are some fake outs you can do. Like, if they think that you're gonna show up behind them, you could just quite literally not do anything. Or if they think that, you know, you're trying to run forward, you can teleport behind them. Like, there's a couple of things that you could do. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go up behind them and like start attacking. Like, there's some mind games with this character. The reason why he's underneath Berserker and the rest is because it seems like he uses a lot of MP. A lot of his attacks really drain his MP. Like, his most useful one, his 5M, which goes all the way across the screen and has a follow-up which puts you in a crumple state for a huge combo. That motherfucker takes like 80% of your meter if you only have 100% of your meter. So that's kind of an issue, right? At least to me. So if it wasn't for how much meter he used, I would say that he's right up there with Berserker. But for right now, no. He is a character that takes some finesse to use. It's not like, well, I'm not saying Berserker doesn't take finesse. He does take finesse because Berserker has some cool tech because of his conversion cancels. But I would say that Ghostblade also has some good conversions, but also Ghostblade uses too much meter. Sorry, Ghostblade's A. Hitman, another top 5 character. and I might have to slide him up here. Okay, I'll just slide him this way then. Alright, so this is my hierarchy. I would say Grappler is a top 5 character. I would say Ranger doesn't need to work as hard. I would say Hitman, it might be even between these two. Hitman, the problem with Hitman is Hitman does a lot of chip damage, and he does a lot of guard stamina damage. And another problem with Hitman is it seemingly feels like every one of his moves converts into the other, right? So like if you hit an opponent on counter, it seems like from the outside looking in, I don't play with Hitman. I do play with the rest of these minus Inquisitor and Striker, but Hitman, seemingly from the outside looking in, it seems like this motherfucker can just touch you and do anything he wants, right? He's like a criminal rapist, and there's nothing you could do about him because he's too powerful. I would actually suggest, I want his chip damage to be lowered. Guard stamina damage as well. The guy literally just wails on you, and I'm not saying that your brain is being turned off when you're doing it, but it's like, geez, man. You know, with Ranger, at least I had to like plot and plan where you're going to be. With Hitman, it seems like you just press a button and you're just stuck there, and you know you're going to do 1,000 attacks and cancel them into something else if you need to. So there's that. There's my explanation on Hitman. I don't hate the character. Contrary to popular belief, there's a character I do kind of hate on this game, but it's not Hitman. Okay, Dragon Knight. I would say Dragon Knight is better than Inquisitor. Not so sure about Ghostblade, but I'm not going to get too wrapped up on these levels here like I did with S tier. S tier is going to have a hierarchy, but these other ones, not too sure. Dragon Knight is A tier to me because Dragon Knight has a good standard move set. She uses a lot of MP with her dragon from time to time, but her awakening skill is pretty good because it gives you more MP. So she regenerates MP quicker. So that's a good thing. But I feel like you can stuff a lot of the tricks that she has if you're paying attention. And not only that, but her DP is like very dangerous, right? So like when her DP comes out, like there's a lot of characters with dangerous DPs, but hers is like she jumps in the air. It like gives you extra time to attack her, you know? And I feel like she's vulnerable to being guard canceled on. So there's that. Like, I'm not trying to downplay her. I don't play with this character. It's just from what I've seen so far, she has a potential to be A+, but for now, I think that she's A. That's just me personally. Vanguard. Vanguard is A-. Vanguard has some of the best footsies in the game. I would say the characters with like the best range, with all their moves, like per move they have, I would say it'd be between like Ranger, Vanguard, Hitman, Troubleshooter, and possibly Swiftmaster, right? With the range that they have. Vanguard's problem though is he doesn't have a great DP. His DP sometimes hits enemies when they're crouching, sometimes it doesn't. It goes over a lot of them. So you could like literally run up to this dude and crouch jab, and your jab might go through him and the attack might not do anything to you. And hold on a sec, I gotta get this music playing again. Excuse me. I didn't know that this went on so long. Alright, anyway, carrying on. So yeah, Ranger doesn't have, not Ranger, Vanguard doesn't have a good DP, and he has a great awakening skill, but it feels like characters like Striker right here, for example, can do what he wants to do in awakening like before they even awaken, and that's kind of a problem. Even Berserker can do that better. He does have great footsies though. Something that's holding him back a little bit as well is he cannot Gatling cancel his A-B attacks into his S attacks. And I find that makes his combos more difficult. It makes him a unique character, but it's not really like a big thing, but I feel like it makes it more difficult to combo than it needs to be. But it does make him unique. He does have decent damage in combos. I do wish that they would like try to do more with his guard breaking skill that he gets, because he can touch you twice. A skilled Vanguard can touch you twice in Awakening and break you down. But, you know, who's to say that you won't touch him first? You know, you could jump while he does an attack and he whiffs. Or if you just get up in his face quickly, you could end him in that frame. You know, he does have, I think it's like the second largest health in the game. Health parameters. But he's just, like I said, DP isn't that good, and he just lacks in the defensive department. You know what I mean? Once you get started, it's hard for him to like start back at you. So yeah. One of my mains, Kunuichi, I would say that she's A+. Even though she's low health, she has that fire tornado, which she can charge, basically can release it when she wants. If you try and roll her, there's certain scenarios where you just, you're powerless, because you can try and roll and then they'll like hold it and then they'll just like let it go. She has a lot of traps, good traps too. The toad, the fire toad, does a lot of guard stamina damage. Her kunai that she throws by doing jump S and 6S, really good for stopping people from like spamming nonsense. I believe it actually goes through Berserker's cross slash attack. You know, it's a very useful thing. I'm not going to say that either one of these is better than the other, but I will say that I do believe that she's A+. And like I said before, what makes her better is another character like this, Inquisitor, who has traps. I would say that Inquisitor is a trap character, but not like the kind with the dick, the kind that, you know, traps you. Inquisitor has traps, but Kunoichi's traps seem to be better because they are quicker and they're more effective because they actually stop you from moving more often than not. Whereas Inquisitor is like used to like make you stand still while she's trying to pressure you. You know what I mean? She can do the same thing, but it's just better. It goes all the way across the screen. A+. Alright, so Crusader. Crusader has an infinite, and I seen that there was someone, Goichi, very good fighting game player, one of the best. He said that Crusader is S tier. I don't believe so. Even with the infinite, I'm not even counting the infinite actually. There's another character, Striker has an infinite, but we're not thinking about infinites. We're just thinking about like the real meta here, because the infinite's not going to last too long. It's just going to be patched out. I would say Crusader is really slow. I would say that there are other characters that, you know, are strong, and we'll get to them soon. That just it just doesn't really do anything to like, you know, have Crusader. It's cool that he buffs himself, you know, so there's like uniqueness to this character, but you know, I just don't find him very strong. Most Crusaders I've played against haven't been that great. They haven't been using the meta of the broken stuff. Like I've seen Crusader on Twitter. There was one Crusader that like kept throwing, he jumps in the air and he does an M attack, right, where he like throws a spear at you or something, and he did it really fast, and I have not seen a Crusader do that, you know. And I don't know how you go about countering it, because I tried to do it in practice and it didn't work. I don't know if I just need to like do some buff that he has or what, because I don't understand the character, but in my estimation, in my experience, he's an A-. That's not downplaying. I don't play with the character. I don't like Crusader. It's just what I witnessed. This one's tricky to me. I want to put a pin in this one. Alright, so here we go. You guys are gonna hate me for this. Troubleshooter. Troubleshooter might be, yeah. So Troubleshooter, the thing with Troubleshooter is, same scenario with Hitman, very good conversions, and in Awakening, super crazy. By the way, did I mention that Hitman has a fucking DP? In his Awakening, he can make his DP safe. Isn't that fucking wonderful? Anyway, yeah, so Troubleshooter. The cool thing about Troubleshooter is he has the same ability as my boy here, Ragna. I'm sorry, Berserker. where he can put himself in a position where he can conversion cancel on purpose with Swashbuckler's Refreshment, which should be 4 or back S. Now, is it as effective? I don't think so. It makes him stronger for a time, and he has white life that he can recover. And really, effectively, what it does too is, if you're at full health, it gives you like another 10% of meter. So like, no matter where you are with your health, depending on how confident you are, you could use Swashbuckler's Refreshment, recover your health, and you could just get more meter for what your for your M attacks. But this dude, when he's full screen in his awakening, he gets enhancements to all of his M attacks, just like Lost Warrior. So he can shoot his shotgun, bounce you off of a wall, and can basically take half your life from there. It's really worrisome when you're fighting this guy when he has low health, because you have to be like, oh man, I wonder what he's going to do next, because it could be the end of my life, because he's going to hit me with some nonsense. He kind of has an infinite, but he doesn't. He can do like a bunch of JMs in a row in a corner. I've seen it on Twitter. I don't know what triggers it, but he's really strong. And when he throws his grenades on the ground, I think it's like 6S. A lot of pressure comes from that. A lot of pressure. You can roll it, but you're not at advantage when you roll that shit. He can just wait for you to roll and start wailing on you. He restarts his pressure. It gets a little nasty. I think he's top 5, personally. By the way, this list is not influenced by anybody. This is just my personal list. I didn't look at anybody else's stuff besides Goichi's, and I agree mostly with them, but like I said, I don't think that there needs to be a B tier. Just A minus, A plus, and S. And as you can see, there's not even that many in A minus. Oh, we're gonna add another soon. Okay, Swiftmaster. All right, Swiftmaster, I think completes the top 5 for me. Now that I see it, it makes a lot more sense. All right, so Swiftmaster, great conversions. His 5B is comparable to Vegito's 5M on Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you guys played that. So basically, it goes very far. And really, I think that Swiftmaster's Swiftmaster does not promote good playstyle, right? Swiftmaster promotes like you spamming 5B, and it's a good strategy with him. You know, it's a decent strategy, and it sets up like any one of the combos that you can have with him, right? So in contrast to like Hitman, I feel like Swiftmaster can drag Hitman in, and I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that, because I do think that Ranger might slightly edge him out, because even though Swiftmaster can set up those wind clouds, people call them the summon swords, like Virgil had in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. Even though he can set them up, those can be blown up by several different projectiles or several different attacks. They can be blown up by physical attacks. There's a lot of things that can happen with that move that can get rid of it, you know. He's just really fast. He's really fast. He's really safe. His 5S is disjointed, and he can jump cancel off of it into another 5S. Like, he's a good character, right? Swiftmaster's great, S tier. I feel like he could beat these two, just for a simple fact that he has, well, really like a similar move to Kunuichi, and he's too fast to like be caught by any of her stuff. And as for Berserker, it just seems like he would hit Berserker before Berserker could hit him. So that's my top 5. All right, now the rest. Enchantress, I would say that she's A minus. I would say that she's better than Vanguard and better than Crusader, not better than these guys up here. Enchantress mid-screen combos need lotion. They are not very strong. She doesn't do that much damage mid-screen. She has great setups in the corner and good combos in the corner, but she uses a lot of juice when she uses her bear. To me, it feels like when she uses her puppet, it should be something that should be used later on, right? It needs to be something that you need to use Enchantress I'm sorry. It needs to be something that you use when you have 150% meter and not 100%. Because if you try it when you have 100% meter, you're going to end up using too much meter and you're not going to have enough to combo. Meter management is a big thing with her. And her move that saps the meter from the opponent and gives it back to you isn't that great because it's not a really big active frame. You know what I mean? Once it's out, if you've dodged it, you're done. You use, what is it? You use 40% of your meter and you get 20% back or something like that. If you get a full successful one. She has a ability, a command grab, which is really nice because it sets up unblockables. She's a good character. I just wish that her mid-screen combos weren't so either difficult or if they were just more regular. You know what I mean? But that's an easy fix for her. I have high hopes for her. I think everybody down here is gonna like be good at some point. But yeah, that's Enchantress. I give her an A-. Lost Warrior. I would say A+. Lost Warrior is slow, but again, he suffers from the same thing that Vanguard has. He has a terrible DP. His defense is awful. It's some of the worst in the game. But his offense is so good that it doesn't even matter, you know? He has a move that crosses you up. He has a teleport. Now, you could get used to all this, but he can, like, punish you from across the screen really quickly. And when he stops time on you, which, again, not everybody is perfect. I mean, nobody is perfect. So when you get tapped by him and he's in Awakening, he's just like Troubleshooter. His M attacks are augmented. So, like, he can combo more where he couldn't combo in the, you know, and the rest of the game. And you know, I've seen a TOD with him and a player got famous off of it. He basically TOD'd somebody from a Swiftmaster from full health, if I remember correctly, and it was crazy. That's touch of death. That means he killed him in one combo. So because of his sheer overwhelming strength, it just seems like he's better than these characters, right? Wouldn't say so for these two, just for the simple fact that Kunuichi's too fast. Berserker has a good way to, like, you know, get to you and heal. But his strength, I don't know, man. He's tricky. I'm going to put him in A. Not sure about this character. I'm going to go ahead and put him somewhere in A. Yeah, that seems right to me. Because I was talking him up a bit, but the simple fact is defense is so bad, man. I don't know. He can be a killer, but everybody in this cast can be a killer. Alright, so I made my decision with Striker. A+. She can break your guard really easy. I don't think that she's as strong as the top 5 up here, but she can break your guard pretty fast. That's good. And you know, she has great combos. She has great pressure. I'm going to go ahead and slide Launcher in here. You know, no particular order. I'm not going to put a particular order for these. There is for A+ and up, though. Launcher, again, good zoning. Good zoning, just like Ranger. Lacking in the combos department, I feel like. She got good combos, but the setups for him, like, they get a bit ridiculous if you ask me. I have not been comboed by a Launcher once since starting this game. And since playing with her, I have not really looked into her tutorial mode or her challenge combos. And I practiced with her a little bit, and it wasn't clicking for me. But from what I've seen, she's not that crazy. You know, she just isn't. I don't think she's as bad as like Enchantress though when it comes to, like, you know, the combo factor not being so good mid-screen and using all that MP, because I feel like she can just press some buttons and she'll be good. She'll be well off. She doesn't need to do combos. Combos aren't her thing. Her thing is, let me shoot stuff, you know, and can you dodge it and can you duck some of it? Sure. But the simple fact that she can just do her job is enough for me. So there. That is my tier list for DNF Duel right now. It's early. Game came out on the 28th. It is now the 7th of July. This is what I feel so far, and it's subject to change. What did you guys think? And where would you put these characters if you were in charge of this tier list? Holler at me in the comments, and I'll holler at you later.